Section 2. 3 Principles for Mind. Siegel claims that neural connections are shaped by human connections and that from this process, the mind and the self emerge. He identifies 3 principles which guide the development of the mind. The first principle is that the, quote, human mind emerges from patterns in the flow of energy and information within the brain and between brains, end quote. These patterns in the flow of energy and information, Siegel says, quote, can be described as emanating from the activity of the neurons of the brain, end quote. The flows of energy that Siegel is referring to may refer to emotional analog states in the brain, which tend to be neglected by cognitive theorists in favor of computational information processing. Siegel is very keen to emphasize that these energy flows, which he claims create our mental processes, are not figments of the New Age imagination, but based on the findings of modern neuroscience. He says, quote, these assessments of energy flow are not popularized unscientific views of the flow of some mysterious energy through the universe. Neuroscience studies the way in which the brain functions through the energy-consuming activation of neurons. The degree and localization of this arousal and activation within the brain, this flow of energy, directly create our mental processes, end quote. Siegel's second principle insists that the social interpersonal dimension in our mental development just simply cannot be ignored, even by neuroscience. Quote, the mind is created within the interaction of internal neurophysiological processes and interpersonal experiences, end quote. The third principle states that the specific experiences of each individual will have specific effects on that individual's nervous system as it matures. Quote, the structure and function of the developing brain are determined by how experiences, especially within interpersonal relationships, shape the genetically programmed maturation of the nervous system, end quote. Siegel is arguing that we need to investigate in detail the ways in which experience shapes the brain, thus influencing future behavior. Quote, by altering both the activity and the structure of the connections between neurons, experience directly shapes the circuits responsible for such processes as memory, emotion, and self-awareness. We can use an understanding of the impact of experience on the mind to deepen our grasp of how the past continues to shape present experience and influence future actions, end quote. This is a new frontline of research where psychotherapy meets neuroscience.